Hey guys, I am excited to be here with you today. Today's session is called Let's Get Engaged. This is a technology and education mashup. So we are going to talk about all kinds of awesome tools in order to get engaged with your audience, both in person and virtually. I hope that y'all are excited. I hope you are ready to learn some cool new things. I hate that I'm not with you in person, but you know how the world is right now. But I'm so happy that we do have the ability for me to be with you virtually. Hopefully down the road, we'll be able to do something in person. So if y'all are ready, let's get started. To start off the bat, I need to probably introduce myself. My name's Renee Duggins, aka Mrs. D. Many people know me as Mrs. D from Mrs. D's Virtual PD. I am the Fire Prevention Coordinator and Training Captain at Holly Grove Fire Department in Central North Carolina. I've been in the fire service for 20 years, and all but one of those has been doing fire prevention and education. Before anybody asks, yes, I do still ride the fire truck. I do still drive. I do still fight fire. But one of my main hats is that I have been doing fire prevention and education. I'm the one that does a lot of the planning, building programs. I take care of our social media. I help other departments as well, working on their programs and digitizing, working on virtual learning. I'm the chair of the North Carolina Fire and Life Safety Educator Eastern Region, as well as the second vice chair for the North Carolina Fire and Life Safety Educator State Council. And our state council is the group that actually puts on our state conference, our Fire and Life Safety Educator Conference, which is a really neat program. I love this outreach to be able to work with other educators across the state and from other states as well. We have a number of people from other states that actually come down to North Carolina to participate in our conference, which is pretty cool. But I'm actually a volunteer. My entire career in the fire service has been as a volunteer. So I have a day job, and my day job is as the media coordinator at Oak Grove High School, which is a brand new school. Actually, we've been open. This is our 5th year. So in the middle of all this, we've had all these crazy COVID years. So we really haven't had a normal school year since we opened. But I am the media coordinator, which is the librarian. And so I'm in charge of not only the books in the library, but all the technology in the building, all the Chromebooks, teaching our educators how to use and integrate technology tools with their students. And during COVID, my job was to help our teachers understand and work with our children virtually. This is my 19th year teaching in the public schools. And I always laugh. I've been in the fire service 1 year longer than I've been in my career. I actually joined as a college senior at UNC Charlotte. I've been in the media center 15 years. So I have 15 years of helping others integrate all these tools and giving them tips and tricks to use in their classroom. And what's really neat is about 10 years ago, I got asked in my state association to present on using smartboards. And that started all of this. They wanted me to show educators when they got into a classroom and the teacher said, hey, we've got a smartboard if you want to use it. What could they do with it? And that kind of piggybacked and started all of this. And COVID amplified it even more. One of the things I also am so blessed to have been able to do is be a past president of the North Carolina School Library Association, which has given me access to so many resources as well to be able to bring back and share with not only my educator buddies in the building, in my school building, but my fire educator buddies across the country. So if y'all are ready, we are going to get started. Buckle up. I hope you are ready. One thing I am going to say is that don't stress. I am going to share my notes with you. All of the slides with all these links, all these videos, you are going to get a copy of. And so stick around, make sure that you hang with me until the very end, because in order to get these slides, there is a survey that I need you to fill out at the very end, which is one of the pieces that we're going to be talking about today and about data collection. And it's also how I'm going to send you the slides and show you how you can send certificates and stuff as well. So before we get started, take a breath, let it out. And I'm going to go on and tell you, don't get overwhelmed. We are going to talk about a lot of stuff today. And I know that right now we probably have people that are green, that are brand new, that are newbies, that are going, oh my. And we got people that are, been around a while, they're good with technology, and y'all are gung-ho and ready to get started. I'm going to show you things that are going to work for everybody on that spectrum. And what I don't want you to try to go back and use all of this at one time. If you do, you're going to be overwhelmed. So do not panic. Start with one or two ideas and then come back for more. Like I said, I'm giving you my slides. So the way you pick what you're going to start with is we're going through and we're talking about things. If you have that light bulb moment, you go, glitter and lights and neon. And you go, oh my gosh, I know exactly what topic, what lesson, how I can use this, what group. And that light bulb goes off. That's the one you start with. So pick one or two of those light bulb moments, start there, and then come back to my slides for more. This is a recording, so hopefully we'll be able to give you access to the recording later as well. So come back, get more ideas, and then you can keep on rolling. So let's go in and talk about the agenda. What is a mashup? We're going to talk about tech tools that I love. We're going to talk about interactive presentations. We're going to talk about games, buzzers, and tools, and then some of my favorite tips and tricks and some of my favorite tools. So what is a mashup? A mashup is kind of like lightning learning. It is fast paced. I'm going to give you a snippet. It's almost like a taste test. I'm going to give you little bitty tastes of a lot of different things and resources for you to go and investigate more. Meaning I'm going to talk about something. I'm going to give you links, tutorials, videos, so that when you get back, you're going to be able to learn more about those. The reason that I do that is so many conferences that I have even sat in, and I actually just got home from the North Carolina Technology Conference. I sit in a session and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I watch how somebody does it. And I get back to school or back to my fire department and I'm like, I don't remember what they did. I know they told me how to do this, but I don't remember what they did. And I have been there. So I want to give you the resources to be able to go back, pick what you want to do, and then come to the slides and find that information. So are y'all ready? We're going to get started. We have such a short period of time. I want to make sure we get through everything. The first off is tech tools I love. These are things for creating, teaching, and things that I use like every day. The very first one is Canva. If you are not using Canva, oh my gosh, you're missing out. It is an amazing tool that makes all of your handouts, your social media posts, your flyers, your videos, they look professional in just minutes. And I love that. There are so many templates that are available, and this is just some of them. You can go search. If you have a YouTube channel, it actually has the templates for the intros to your YouTube channels. It has Zoom backgrounds. There are presentation slides. I use it constantly for social media. It is freemium. There is a free version. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you if I pay for something. I do not pay for this one. I started out with just the free account. If there were images that were a cost, I usually imported my own. I'll take a lot of my own photos. So I would import my own photos, or I would use tools that were copyright friendly to get images and use those. Now, if your department is a nonprofit, I'm going to go in and tell you that second link right here, go apply for the nonprofit account. It opens up. There's no paid version anymore when you get the nonprofit account, and it opens up hundreds of thousands of images, of videos, of sounds, of templates, and they're specific to that world. And I have the education account for school, and I have a nonprofit account for like the State School Library Association. So I have seen both of them. Both are absolutely amazing. There's also a cell phone app, and I use it when I am on the go, if I'm on a call, if I am at the department, or if I'm at school too, and I need to create something on the fly, I can access Canva on my cell phone, and everything that is on the web-based version shows up there. So any templates I've built, like I have some that are for our website, I have some that are social media, and I just drop the info in and images. they're all there, and I can do it on my phone and I can turn around and post. Another thing is, if you are interested in Canva and have never used it before, this link at the bottom is a session I did that's a community risk reduction on using Canva, and it goes through the basics of getting started. Canva, definitely check it out. The next one is Gently. This one is also an amazing tool. It is freemium, so I have never paid for this one. It helps you teach. You can create games. You can gamify your slides. You can help create practice templates. You can embed things easily on your website. You can post things. If you look over here on the left, there's some awesome options and templates. This is one that I have been using for about the last year and a half. I love it. It helps me. I embed pieces on my school website and my fire department website, and they're interactive. So it is me not having to use it in our clunky web tool that our district has. I can actually create something that is a lot more professional looking and user friendly for people to interact with. And it's awesome. So if you're creating infographics, you can actually make them interactive, where when they click on things, information pops up or a video pops up. So this is one that I would say, go check out. It is amazing. And I also have a tutorial over here for creating interactive presentations. The next is Google Tools. I know that not every location, not every department uses Google. If you're, and this is the cool thing, is you don't have to have a G Suite account for your department to use Google Tools. You can create a free Gmail account and have access to these. I use them constantly. My fire department has G Suite, and I'm the admin for our G Suite account. We can collaborate in real time. So right now we're getting ready for our ISO inspection, and we have a Google Drive that all of the officers are working out of, and we are dropping files in. We have documents we can type to each other in. Everybody can type and work in those documents at the same time if we want them to. So as long as we share it with them, they can do that. So you can work on planning stages for projects, for lesson plans. You can create brainstorming documents. You can actually gather info from participants during the session using Google Tools. And that's one of those things that I really love. And even like one of them with the slides and presentations like this is I can actually turn on Q&A mode, and you can ask me questions in real time. Because this is pre-recorded, I wasn't able to turn it on to show you. But in a live session, even in a classroom with people in there, I can turn that on. And as I'm going, people can ask questions. It's shareable. We can share with our audience. We can embed these on our website, which is awesome. I do this all the time. We can also share these on social media. And oh my goodness, this is one of my favorites. We can gather data, and data is so important. Everything we do in education and community risk reduction is so data heavy. And even in the education world, in the public schools, everything relies on data. Everything we do, we need to back up with data. And so Google Forms has been one of my best friends to gather that. It could be from beginning stages where I'm doing registration. It could be doing quizzes and gathering people's understanding. I could have anticipatory sets at the beginning of a session. What you will see at the end of this session is I'm doing a Google form for you to sign in. It gives me the ability to gather email addresses, who attended, how many people did I reach? And it also gives me the ability to also do a little survey about how the session went, suggestions, was it beneficial, things like that. So it gives me that ability to evaluate and work on things for me for my next session so that I can get better. That's one of those things, is that we always need to reflect, and this gives us that ability to gather data to do that. When we're doing like Google Forms, or even just Google Docs, Google Slides, we can do registration. We can create those anticipatory sets for the beginning. We can do questionnaires. You can send out questionnaires as a Google Doc and people type in it, or you can have it as a Google form. We can create worksheets, like interactive worksheets that you're going to see a little bit later. We can create guided notes to help them. We create most of the notes, but leave blanks for certain sections. And then as you are presenting, they fill in the blanks. So they're not having to write out everything. They're just writing the most important parts. Creating handouts for them to take back, end of course surveys, quizzes. I love that Forms now has quiz mode. So we can turn it into a quiz and have it score it for us. We can create certificates, which is how I do my certificates for sessions that I present. And there is so much more that Google tools do. And one of my favorite features is that a lot of this can be done in real time. We can have a document going, which was really cool from the conference that I just attended. There were 3,000 attendees. And we had a Google Doc. It was actually a Google slide where there were all these slides and people were told, hey, grab a slide. You go to a session, jot your most important notes. If there's handouts, if there's slides, throw those in. And it's a collaborative document that we can, when we get back home, we can go and access for more information for all these sessions. And somebody else may have caught information that I didn't. And that's what I love about it. The next one is one of my faves that works with Google tools. This is Autocrat. This is a Google add-on for Google spreadsheets, so Google Sheets. And so I've given you a couple links. This first one is actually to the add-on page that gives you details on how to add it. It is free. It will take your Google spreadsheet data and you can turn it into a document. So imagine a registration and it's all dropped into a spreadsheet and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to keep track of this person's info and this and this? We can use Autocrat and every person could have an individual document that has their name, their address, their phone number, their demographics. So if I need to look at Mrs. Jones' sheet and her answers, and let's say we go to a house fire at Mrs. Jones' house, and we had been doing a smoke alarm canvas and she had filled out this Google form for us, we can pull the data from that sheet and have it on that document all in one place using Autocrat. We can do certificates, which is what I will do for this session. I also do this for our Fire and Life Safety Educator Conference in North Carolina. I have all of our certificates. When people fill out their surveys, it creates their certificates for them and it's automated. I don't have to do anything. I have it set to a trigger. So if somebody fills out the form, it creates the certificate for them. And so that's one of the really cool things that can be done. You can also send emails with information as well. And so I love that part is that it is completely automated. My website is now the same way using Autocrat. When on my PD website, like my professional development website, if you go back and you watch a session from, a year and a half ago, and you participate in it, you watch the session, you complete the questionnaire and answer questions about the session. When you complete that, it will send you the certificate for CEUs. Many departments, at least down here for ISO, we have to maintain a certain number of hours in order for our educators to be counted for our insurance ratings. And so with COVID, we had a lot of people that couldn't go and there wasn't a lot of stuff being offered face-to-face. So a lot of online sessions happened. And so people needed those CEUs. And so that's how this was done. So down at the bottom, there are two links. One is to a document on using Autocrat step-by-step, and it takes you through the process. And then the other is a video about using Autocrat to automate your documents. The next one is one of my faves to use. It is QR codes. And I know that people say these have been around for a long time. I'm so amazed sometimes at so many people still aren't taking advantage of things that they can do. Imagine using QR codes like signs on the truck that take people to your department website, or it's signs on the truck for Fire Prevention Week and it takes them to your Fire Prevention Week page or to a Fire Prevention Week video. You could have signs during drive-through events. We did our Halloween event as a drive-through this year, and we had signs, as people were driving through different sections, when they scanned, it took them to a video or an activity to do with their family while they were waiting in line. You could have them on banners like down here below. Do you know the sounds of fire safety? And you can scan the QR code to find out, do you know the sounds? So this is one for last year's Fire Prevention Week, where when they scan it, it takes them to an interactive activity that they can use. You can have them on activities and presentations, very similar to this one right here. This one was one that for elementary schools where when they scanned the QR code, it gave them a sound and they had to identify what sound they heard. And then at the bottom, it was the I Spy Sounds of Fire Safety video from NFPA. There's so many options. I mean, you could do self-guided tours around a park where you have signs, almost like the story walks where they have the pages of a book when people are walking a track. You can have a self-guided tour where you have those same things in their QR codes. And as families are walking, when they scan them, it has like story times or videos or gives them a safety message as they're moving. If you're looking for ideas, I have a presentation here on using QR codes. So if you click that, it'll give you even more, tons of ideas and how to create them. The next are two tools that I use all the time. I'm like almost every day. Cool Text is a free website that has fun fonts to spice up your presentations. You can save them as a PNG file with a transparent background, which I love. This down here was done with Cool Text, and as you can see, it's flaming. Not all of them are moving. I use a lot of the stationary text in images and posters all the time. The other are Bitmojis. It is an app on your cell phone, and there's also a Chrome extension. You can customize your characters. As you can see right now, my little girl up here is in her fire gear. Down here is me whenever I'm back at school. I have attire saved in her wardrobe to bounce back and forth. I also change her based on the weather sometimes. And so I use them just to add excitement to slides, get people's attention. I also have a flat Bree firefighter, similar to the flat Sparky, that we use and take pictures of as well. And you can use them in the Bitmoji classrooms that a lot of people have been building. And I have a session. If you click over here on the emoji, it will take you to a link to a session I did on Cool Text and Bitmojis. And it talks about creating the Bitmoji classrooms as well. So now we're going to get to some fun stuff, some even more fun stuff. A lot of people ask about interactive presentations, and this is going to give you some ideas to make face-to-face and virtual presentations interactive. Now that we're back in starting to baby step back into face-to-face, we still can use so many of the tools that we were using in the virtual environment face-to-face. So we don't want to get rid of all those presentations. We want to keep using them. So one thing that is really cool is drag and drop activities. And these are activities where literally you can drag and drop answers. It's like a worksheet. They can be shared with families to complete them at home. They can be done if you're in a face-to-face environment and classes have Chromebooks, tablets, even interactive boards like Promethean or smart boards. They can drag them to answer, and then they can submit them to see if they're correct. This is like the cut and paste activities that we used to do. Anybody in here old enough to remember the cut and paste, and we'd have to glue the backs and stick them on? And as a teacher, it freaked me out because there was glue everywhere. There were kids with papers on their foreheads. So this takes all of the glue out. So let me show you an example of a drag and drop activity. When you click this one, it's going to ask you to make a copy. And I did this so that you have your own version of this. So this is a what's hot, what's not sorting activity. And this is from the NFPA from 2 years ago when we were doing kitchen safety. So when we get to this, if you notice, we have our hot section and our not hot. This is for our early kids that are non-readers. And so I am going to go through, give me just a second to get my tools back on. And I'm going to turn my film strip off so that now they don't see a lot of the other stuff. Oh, yeah, there we go. And now what they can do is they can go through and say, is this hot? Is this not? So we're looking at our fire pit. Well, yep, that's hot. So they'll come over and they'll drag it to the hot section. Oops, Sparky. Sparky's not hot. Our book is not hot. Oop, our candle's hot. So they can go through and they can move the items. And it gets kids interactive. If you've got a Promethean board or a smart board in a classroom, you can throw this up, take off that film strip, and the kids literally come up with their finger or come up with a pen and they drag and drop them. If they are on their Chromebook or their tablet, then they can use their mouse. And this helps also with their mouse skills, which is also an information and technology skill in the school system, is especially with these early kids, kindergarten, first grade, they're having to learn to manipulate things on their screen. So it's also helping them with that component. And so then they can go through and they've moved everything on, and you can do a check. You can give the teachers like a key that, so if they do it in the classroom, and so it's a really neat activity. So this has videos for how to do how to do these, create these. So this one talks about drag and drop in Google Slides, and this one is also another one. So I've got 3 videos here that show you different ways to do this. The next one is creating interactive presentations. And this one, oh my goodness, I love interactive presentations. There's so many options. There could be choice boards. There could be the Bitmoji classrooms. You could have even games, digital games, where that when they move their game piece, it tells them what they need to do. You could have quiz shows where a question pops up on the screen, and whenever they click on an answer, it either tells them if it's right or wrong. If they're right, it goes to the next question. If they're wrong, it may take them to a video to rewatch, relearn, reteach, and then it takes them to the question again for them to answer. So there's all kinds of options. So here is a presentation on creating these yourself. I have 3 awesome videos that are up here that show you how to create it. And then this is an example of one as well. This one was done for Fire Prevention Week 2 years ago about kitchen safety. So we're going to click on items around the kitchen and to learn about safety tips. And yes, my hair is blue there. I told y'all I changed my Bitmoji. I changed my Bitmoji like I changed my hair. You never know what color or style it's going to be. And she had blue hair at the time. So when we come here, they're going to move around, and there's a couple things that you'll notice that are like clip art. They stick out a little bit. So when they come around, they can click on something and it'll say a message about fire safety. So this one was about being smart when you're cooking and using a timer to remind you that you are cooking, because, you know, unattended cooking was one of the leading causes of kitchen fires or home cooking fires. And so each one of these has a message, and all of these images are straight from the NFPA website in their toolkit. So whenever the, like last year's Fire Prevention Week thing came up about the sounds of fire safety, you can drop these in. Same will go with whatever the new theme is that they'll announce in June. And so being able to create these that they can interact with is pretty cool. So this has interactive presentations, how to create them. A lot of it's done with creating hyperlinks. I love that Google Slides can be nonlinear. And so it can move in and out of order. And that's how we create those. And you can make images the hyperlinks. You can make links the hyperlinks. So it's pretty cool to be able to do this. And what's awesome, say you make a Bitmoji classroom, which is those rooms. It's like this down here in the bottom. And I have one of a fire station. We could do a virtual tour of our fire station from a Bitmoji classroom slide like that. Picture of the outside of our fire station. We have 3 bay doors, 2 on one side, 1 on the other. When they click on a bay door, the next picture takes us to the section in that bay that they're at. So if they're at 176 or 376, then we go to that truck. And then from there, they could hit a doorway and they could click on a door and it takes them to our radio room, or it takes us to the training room, or it takes us to the kitchen. So they could click on different pieces inside that picture and it'll take them on that tour without us really having people in the station, which was what we were having to do during COVID. We can turn pencil and paper into digital, and this is one of those that I absolutely love. You can take a handout or a worksheet and you can make it an interactive digital worksheet. And so these 3 videos take you through that step by step. And I love that. That in itself, like these couple, the drag and drop, the interactive presentations, and the digital worksheets, I could do entire sessions or entire days just showing you how to do that. And so imagine a worksheet you always use, or even imagine one of the NFPA worksheets where kids circle or they write. You can take that and put it into a Google site or a Google slide, and then you can put the text boxes over them so that they can interact with it. So you could send it home without sending the paper home. You can share it with the kids through their email and share it with the families through email, or have it on your website and they complete it. And you know how so many times papers don't get back to us. Well, you could have it where all they have to do is email the completed document back for some type of contest or prizes or giveaways, drawings, all of that. So they could complete them at home and then submit them. If your teachers are using Canvas or Google Classroom or Seesaw, there are so many ways that they could still do this, and the students can submit them back to the teachers. And so that's an easy way to do that. With Google Classroom, I love it at our elementary schools because I can give them a digital worksheet. The teachers, we come in to do our presentation. The activity that's the worksheet, the teacher assigns in their Google Classroom, which is their learning management system that they use at school. And then the students complete it at home or in class, and then they submit it to be graded by their teacher, and the teacher can share those documents with me. So it's really neat to be able to do that. Like you can see down here, there's one that they're going to be typing on. Up here's ones that they're going to be putting in order. So there's all kinds of options. There we go. The next is digital breakouts and escape rooms. I love these. This is one of those, if you've ever been to an escape room, they're so much fun. You have to problem solve, you have to think, you have to read, you have to look around, you have to investigate. And so a digital breakout takes that in that physical room and puts it in a digital format. So they have to solve a series of clues to unlock the locks. And there could be videos, there could be puzzles, there could be activity sheets. The cool thing about this one is you don't have to have any kind of special equipment. You don't have to have toolboxes. You don't have to have locks, different types of locks. And it can be done virtually or in person. I have done digital breakouts virtually, which I'm going to show you one, as well as I've done them in the classroom where the students and the adults completed them in person with me, but they just did it based on their computer. So this is one that I built for this year's Fire Prevention Week, or last year's in 2021, about the sounds of fire safety. So Sparky's mom had a problem and needed Sparky's help. The smoke alarm in her house kept making a noise and she didn't know what to do. So they had to learn about the sounds of fire safety so that he could figure out and help her know what sound her smoke alarm was making. And so if you notice, there's some links. So one is about sounds of fire safety. This one gathers some information. And then they are going to have 30 minutes. So they start their timer. So these two are clues. Over here, there's a rebus puzzle. If you've ever done the words and pictures to try to figure out what the phrase is, that's what a rebus puzzle is. Here is one of the I Spies. This one, they have to put the activity in order. What are the steps in order? And that is a lock. Here is one that is one of my slideshows, and it goes through the sounds. Like, do you know what the sound is? And so Sparky teaches them what the sound is and also what the sound means. And then this is one of my favorite tools. This is a puzzle. So they actually go through and they have to move the puzzle pieces. And when you get puzzles, this one, if you see there's a red line, what I did with the image, it's one of the NFPA images, is I underlined a specific phrase, and that's actually one of the locks. And then this one is actually a link and takes you to the video about the Great Chicago Fire. And there, one of the clues is in that. So once they have went through and they do these, they can go up here to the lock, and they can go through to the different locks and answer. So if I go through, and this is the 5-letter lock, if I go through and do KKKK, it's still locked. Did you answer in the correct order? So then that's a clue that sends them down to this one, and they've got to put the things in the right order. And one of them is about the pieces. Like the phrase lock is the pieces. The clue tells them, did you put everything in the right piece, or like in the right order, or the right pieces? And it takes you to the puzzle. So there's all kinds of really cool things. Once they do that and they've got all these correct, it tells them that they broke out and gives them congratulations and tells them how they can earn a prize. This one we've put on our website. We've also shared it with the school so that the kids can do this. You can do this, like I said, in person or virtually. So if you're wanting to do some of the breakouts, I do have like links and stuff that I can share with you. This is the one of my favorite tools. It's the puzzle piece one. You can upload pictures of your own department, of your trucks, for kids to put together. And it is amazing how many people love doing puzzles on their tablets, on their computers. It's a great little extension tool, or when they have a little bit of an extra time or they finish early. Another thing I do is stations. This was actually what I was doing what my plan was for our fire prevention week, or our prevention month activities in October. And because of our numbers, we were not able to get into the schools. So we were going to have 5 stations for our elementary school kids. They would get to come out and visit a fire truck. We had the I Spy Sounds of Fire Safety video from NFPA on their YouTube channel and the Sparky Kids website. We also had an I Spy activity sheet on the Promethean board. And so what this one looks like is this is that I Spy video. This one has the circles. So then when they're up at the Promethean board or the smart board, they can come over, and if they see one of the smoke alarms, they can grab the circle and drag it to find the smoke alarms. So they go through and they'll go through and find as many as they can with their groups. And then whenever they're done, they'll reset it and be able to put everything back. And the teacher has a key that'll be able to help them if they're still looking for some. So it gets them looking and investigating and taking a closer look at things than just the easy here, here, here. We have the sparky.org website. If you have not taken advantage of the sparky.org website, oh my gosh, you need to. When they added the Sparky's Fire Safety Club, kids love it because they can earn like the little badges. And the cool thing is they don't have to sign, like they're not having to sign in with any of their identifying information. So we had Chromebooks. We were going to have Chromebooks set up where the kids could go over, and when they were in that station, they would participate in the Fire Safety Club activities, and they can pick different activities on the sparky.org website to earn their badges. And so that one's a cool little station as well. And then we've got the Sounds of Fire Safety presentation. And this one is that interactive presentation where they go through and they're going to listen, do you know these sounds? And so this one, when it plays, is actually the sounds of the beep, beep, beep of your smoke alarm. And then what does that mean? Well, that means that the smoke alarm activated. When you hear that, do you know what to do? And it's using even the images from the NFPA website to go through and say, hey, when you hear the beep, get on your feet. It means that there's smoke or something in your house. You need to get out and stay out. And then it goes to the next sound. And this is actually the chirp, and talking about our smoke alarm battery being low. And so with this one was originally built for the 10-minute lesson plan about sounds of fire safety with our kids. And then we would do activities with it. And so giving a firefighter going through that with them as well, they can go through and practice. Do you know those sounds? Can we practice these sounds? And so each station kind of reinforced some safety messages. And then they always got to go to the fire truck and have some fun, got some cool prizes. All the kids love doing that as well. So it was really neat We are hoping to be able to do this in the future. Like I said, we had to modify because we didn't get to go physically to the school building at that time. The next section is on games, buzzers, and tools. These are ways to get your audience active. The first one is Mini Meter. This one's one of my favorites. It is freemium. I have never paid for it. You can play on your phone, tablet, or your computer. There are links to how to use it, what's included in the free account, 5 ways you can engage students. You can do surveys. You can do quiz shows. I do like what yesterday or was it yesterday? Oh, no, 2 days ago at the conference. I did one where at the beginning of my session, I wanted to see what their interests were or where they fell on a spectrum for how comfortable they were with something. And they dropped pins on a continuum so that I kind of knew where everybody was before my session. And then I was able to tailor that. So you can use these. There's word clouds. There's ones where they can drop in text and you can get everybody's ideas in one place. There's lots of awesome options and it's very easy to use. GimKit and Kahoot. A lot of people know Kahoot because it's been around a little bit longer. Both of these have awesome games. You do your quiz shows. They can be on a tablet, a phone, a computer. There's tons. Kahoot has been adding, and they have a lot of corporate sponsors or partners, and they have their own questions in there as well. So like if you want to do a Disney movies quiz, Kahoot has a partner with Disney, and there are all kinds of quizzes in there. GimKit was actually created by a high school student who hated doing like pencil paper quizzes. And so they have all kinds of neat little games as well. So you can ask the question and they can in live time answer. What's really cool about both of these is these can be assigned and done later. So you could do an activity in a classroom and say that they have this that they need to complete later. And then you can get a gauge on how well they understood the material. Quizzes and Quizlet are 2 more. We use both of these in the school system. My teachers love these. Everybody finds, and the reason I'm showing you a number of them is everybody finds one that fits their personality. And that's very much how education is find what works for you, what works best for you. And so that's where I'm giving you a couple options. Quizlet, a lot of people know Quizlet for the flashcards, and you can do like your Quizlet live and you can practice the flashcards and do in game mode. And then quizzes, is very similar. It's the class quizzing. But Lookit is a new one. I love this one. This one is so much fun. It is freemium. It has unlimited questions up to 60 participants. So if you're doing a session and you've got 30 or 40, this is great. If you're going to have like over 100 people in a session, this probably won't work as well unless you pay for it. Everybody gets to create. This is great for little kids. Middle schoolers love this. Even our high schoolers like it. They get to create their little characters and they earn points that they can buy things. They can spice up their characters, change their character, or their avatar's clothes. They can get different avatars. They can buy things to help them during quizzes. So, for example, if any of y'all played Mario Kart or have kids that play Mario Kart, you know, when you want to throw a banana and make somebody spin out, there's things like that in this. So the more that they participate, the more points they can earn so they can go and buy things at the store. There's things like they can switch places with somebody. And those kids get strategic so that right before a quiz gets finished and they're in like a race, they'll switch places with the first place person or the second place person. I mean, it's crazy, but they love it. It gets them engaged and they're still learning and answering the questions. And that's one thing that I really love about this one. A couple times we look for things that don't have the questions themselves, but the ability for people to buzz in so that we know who's going to answer or who buzzed in first. And these are buzz tools. I could be in a room of 100 people and I'm going to ask a question, but gosh, if everybody goes, me, I don't know who answered first. And this gives me the ability to do that. Crowd Buzzer is free. You use the link. There's a YouTube video that shows you how to do that. People can connect to it on their computer, tablet, or phone. And so it gives them, they go in and put their name, and there's a buzzer. And so when they press it, it flashes the name up on yours in order. Buzz in Live is very similar as well. The downside of it is it's freemium. It's free up to 8 people. So if you're doing something with a small group, Buzz in Live is great. Crowd Buzzer is one that I go to more. And then also Cosmo Buzz is pretty cool. This one has like literally it's a red buzzer that's on your screen. And so it's another one that's free. I love that. And then Game Night Buzzer is fun because you can put it into a different mode. You can do quiz bowl mode, which players can buzz in at any time before you even finish with a question, or reaction mode. So I have to click a button before it allows them to answer. So a lot of times people will buzz in before you finish your question. And if you don't stop talking, you will sometimes will give them the answer from the rest of your question. So you get some options on that one too. So I like this one as well because you can play it in quiz bowl or reaction mode. The last couple things as we wrap up, these are my tips and tricks and just a few final ideas. I know we've talked about a lot of stuff, and I wish we had more time to delve into some of these specifically, but I want to give you like lots of fun ideas. The first is to network. I know this isn't like a technology tip, but network. Go to conferences like you're at right now, or go to webinars. If you have never joined the Fire and Life Safety Educator and Coordinators Facebook group, go do that. I'm one of the admins for that group. I can help look for you. Go join. They can send out great ideas. CRRNet is a listserv that you can join that is a national listserv. I get great ideas. I get great resources, things that I have never experienced in my own department. I hear about that way, and that's been great. And then join groups in your own state. I mean, and even other states. I have been amazed at how many connections and partnerships that I have created over the last number of years with people all across the country. My first trip to NFA was in 2006 to take an education class, and I still talk to a number of people from those classes because there'll be things that I am looking for, and I will email out to the group and say, hey guys, have y'all seen this? Do you know what this is? But network, collaborate, work together. We are better when we work together, more heads. I mean, that is the big thing, is getting more ideas and working together. We do that a lot, even locally. Another is choice boards. I love these. It is awesome, especially whenever we can't always get into a classroom, is give them some choices in their learning. We could have like activities for the same topic and give them options. So you can share these with teachers. You can post them on your website and have them available for families looking for fun things to do that are educational. You can have them on social media, your website. You could share them with QR codes, like want to do some activities for this weekend. This is a great way. There could be videos that they watch. You could have activities similar to some that I've shown you, some of those worksheets, some of the interactive activities, like the one where they did the I Spy and drag and drops. There's all kinds of stuff. It could also be links to sparky.org activities. And so if they complete different ones, then there might be some type of prizes that they could earn. It's a really great way to organize activities. Even if we are going to be in the room face to face with them, we could have this up on the board and we go and click the activities as we're doing them with a class. So it could help us as well staying organized. And all we have to do is know like the file, have the slide, have the link, whatever we need to do to access it. If you're interested in these, check out Slides Mania. Their website has awesome templates, and there's a whole section just on choice boards. which kind of leads me to the next thing is slide templates. I love these websites, Slides Carnival, Slides Go, and Slides Mania. Slides Mania has been my go-to lately. They have so many amazing templates. There are games, board games. There are digital notebooks. There are choice boards. There's regular slides. There's interactive slides. There's so many things that they have created template-wise. Slides Carnival and Slides Go have amazing presentation templates as well. They're interactive. They're bright. Like you can see, this one is actually from one of the websites, and it's bright, it's colorful, it has all of the different slides on there, it gives you different icons to use, so it spices it up just a little bit. Thank y'all so much. I know that we talked about a lot of things. Thank y'all for allowing me to come and hang out with y'all for a little bit. One thing that I do is, like I said when we were talking about Google Forms, is trying to track information and data. And if you could, please help me by gathering a little bit of data for myself and signing in. So you can scan the QR code here, or you can type in this link and it'll take you to my sign-in form. Now, that's while you're doing that, one of the things that I do with this is I'm able to keep numbers. I'm able to share with my department and keep track for myself how many people I work with or I talk to. When you're in your sessions, when you're out in the public, having things like this allows us to track information. When we're doing registration forms and I have people sign up, and let's say we have a target audience that we're trying to reach, and when we get registration numbers in, we ask some demographic questions, we may realize that our advertising did not hit the right target audience. And so we can find that out through just taking a simple registration form. Another cool thing is I can track number of clicks on these. So I know how many people have scanned the QR code and how many people clicked on the link or typed in the link or used that URL. And that gives me numbers as well. It helps me to track interactions, and are people actually seeing what I was using on the fire truck on social media. So it allows us to do that as well. So there's all kinds of really cool options and valuable information that we can gather. Again, thank y'all so much. And if you have any questions, or if there's anything you want more information on, please shoot me an email. I've got my fire department and my personal email for my website are both on here. And then my website, busybeebree.com, is on here as well. This is where I put presentations that I do. I do live and on demand. So if you go there, you'll see previous presentations and also things that are coming up down the road. Again, thank you so much. And I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day.